It's the JaeTae Show. It's the JaeTae Show. It's the JaeTae Show. It's the JaeTae Show.
All right, season's greetings. God bless you to each of you. Welcome to the JaeTae Show. All right, as you see, we are wrapping up our discussion on chapter 9. We have made it to chapter 9, and we're at chapter 10 once we finish today. We stopped at page 160 with the subtopic, Stirred While Shaken. The things I highlighted on this page is God's grace is extended to us by allowing us to ferment in the holding pattern. Our fermentation is really just a brief time of transition, and let the divine process of transformation unfold.
I highlighted, we hate to wait. And then the same sentence that you did. And then life won't always be like this. And exercise patience. Help me out, Jay.
Patience.
Patience.
Yeah, help us, Lord. Help us. Truly, truly, truly. You know, just to take these notes out of here that, you know, it's going to take time. That's like the main thing that I got out of this. And just knowing that we're in the process, you know, I think at times I'm 40 and it seems like certain things should be passed and done with and have certain things down, but it's just, you know, you have to wait on God's timing, and there are some things he's still working out of us. I think about the 2 outbursts and the arguments in the past few weeks, you know, that there's still some things that God is working out. Just imagine being on a national platform and you getting into it with people like that. That's what I thought about. All right, I didn't have anything on page 161, did you? Oh, okay. All right, well, page 162, the fermentation process God takes us through acts as a spiritual broom he uses to sweep away what we no longer need. Just a thought that there are things that we feel like we need, but we really don't need. Just the thought of that. And that God knows how to, in the process, get rid of that stuff, whether we want him to or not.
And it's crazy that there's times when God opens the door for it to be let go of, when we close that door and hold on to it, and not knowing that if we release it, something better could be standing right outside the door.
Okay, you have anything else?
On 162, right? The negativity we carry in our hearts can be so ugly and contrary to what God has called us to be.
I
think that sentence speaks for itself.
Truly. Help us, God.
Yeah, that's all I have on that page.
I didn't highlight it, but I keep reading this. If people get too close to us during the process of casting off everything, those same people can easily be rendered spiritually unconscious, never wanting to have anything to do with us or the vintner we wish to emulate. Oh, wait. I think that is just, when I read it, it was powerful, but I just didn't highlight it. But as I come back to it, just the thought of that, you know, we want to, I think about the fact of how I love the fellowship and all of this, and how it seems like God has brought all of that to a screeching halt. And that it seems like this is truly that fermentation, crushing, after the crushing process that we're in, and being able to just be still and trust the process is not easy, but what I keep getting out of this is it is worth it.
What I get out of that is God's protection.
Yeah.
Because God knows your heart. He knows where your mind is. He knows where you are mentally, physically, and all of that. And the headspace that you're in with going after greater. And if you're not around people that, have the same mindset, that can pull you down.
True. That's so true. And it does. Truly, it does. Many people cannot handle the ugly parts of me. Page 163. It's just the truth. Transition is not easy. Be careful with people while they are changing, and we are refined for a greater purpose than anyone can imagine or understand.
I think I highlighted this whole page except for like 2 sentences. Because I think about even what Jay just read. The first thing I highlighted on this page is that he went to work on my character. God is transforming us whether we want to or not. He is literally transforming us, and he's making us into something better, and he wants the old part of us to be gone, and that includes everything, every piece. And we have to guard it, just literally about the comment that you just said. What I just said to you about guarding yourself and how God protects us is that when we're vulnerable in those moments, when we are set around groups of people, we have to be tuned in, like use discernment, and you have to pray.
Truly need discernment.
You have to pray and ask God to give you discernment in those moments when you're around so many people. Because I'm not gonna give details, but just like last night, I was somewhere, someone was really hurting, and it was 30 or 40 people, surrounded that person, and nobody got up to, console or anything. And and I felt like somebody, somebody should have gotten up, no matter what the situation or circumstance was. We all saw somebody hurting in that moment.
That's interesting. And it brings back to the thought, transition is not easy.
Nope.
And we have to be careful with people while they're changing, while they're grieving, while they're going through, because you just never know. And the thing is, the process is different for everybody. God has or will take you through a season of hiding you. He gets you ready for your assignment. His timing rarely seems to match our own impatience. I think about just the schooling desires, and we just never know where that path could take us. You know what I'm saying? And I think about, you start off with your lower degrees and your classes, your first class that you have to take, and the things that they're teaching you there are preparing you for the higher level classes. And if you don't go through this process and you're not patient through this process, you never make it to the next step. You know what I'm saying? And so we've got to, it's truly what I'm seeing out of this is there's a daily, truly step-by-step walk with God and trusting him that even though I'm here right now and I'm going through this right now, there is something that he's preparing me for. The assignment is greater than what I see now. And so if I get frustrated now and stop working now or doing what it is that God is having me to do right now, then I may miss out later, because there are some things, again, I've been on this for quite some time now, that there are some things that God used us to put in place when we were younger that we are benefiting from now, that we're living off of now. There are things that we are skills and talents that we cultivated, that we developed, that we invested in, that are paying off now. But now we have a responsibility to get things ready for future us. And so just the thought that, it's going to take patience, it's going to trust, knowing that even though it seems like we're in hiding now, or that things are not working out or not moving forward in certain ways, that God still has a plan. And if we trust him, he, just like he's taking care of us now, as we be faithful and obedient now, he will continue to take care of us.
That made me think about when we were in school, taking English and social studies and science and math and all those classes. I literally said to myself, sitting in social studies, I remember I hated my social studies class. What is this going to have to do with my future? And, not knowing that, our eventually was going to be back in school, and I would need to know some of those tools that I skipped over and didn't pay attention to when I was in school, and then go in me a remedial. I mean, I don't know if it's a remedial social studies class, but you know what I'm saying? Just what it could lead you to.
Yeah, I think we all know about those classes that we don't feel like we should have to take, and we're being forced to take. I don't like being forced to take nothing. So this last thing that I highlighted on page 165 says, during fermentation, we must practice patience and trust God's perfect knowledge of the time required for us to reach maximum potency and flavor. We want our food to seasoned, and the season to run through and right. And surely when we get to where God have us to be, we want to be ready. We want to be prepared. We want to have the knowledge and the insight that we need in order to be sustained in that moment. And so that was the last thing I had.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go, since you want, I'm gonna start on 164 and end on 165.
Okay.
I highlighted on 164, waiting, wondering, waiting some more. That literally is our life. God have us waiting and then wondering, like, what is happening as we're waiting some more.
Lord have mercy.
The prayers that we prayed, he just kind of, they say God answered yes, no, maybe. But rather, even if he answered yes, you still got to wait for that. It's not going to come instantly. And then I have, whatever it is for the master has placed in your heart to do, for him, I would suggest that he has or will take you through your season of hiding you. I thank God for hiding me and releasing me when he was ready for me to be released, not when I was ready to be released. His timing rarely seems unmatched to our own impatience, but we must learn to release in order to have an experience that God has for our lives. And then I have on 165, you don't rush the process, you don't rush him, you can't rush him. No matter how much we try.
Okay.
It made me think about when you said it about being in your 40s. Like, I know everybody, there's probably not one person in the world when they were a child didn't have dreams of who they thought they would be and marry, or even dating, how many children they would have and where I would live and all this and all that. And I can guarantee you this is probably the opposite of what
totally opposite
about it would be, what your life would be. Because it's not the plan that God has for you.
Totally opposite.
I'm gonna skip, but I'm just gonna read this one part right here. That we're becoming something that the master is not ready to taste.
Oh, wow.
And when we wait on him, that all of his heart, it shows him that all of his hard work is paid off. That's all I have on 165.
It makes me think about how you do with your cornbread. And if you pull it out too soon, the middle may not be done. And then you come out with this mush in the middle. But if you wait and be patient and let it cook all the way through, then you have that golden brown cornbread with the butter glazed on top. My sweet Jesus. Thank you, Lord God. And truly, you know, I think the thing about it is we don't know when we're finished or when we're ready, but God knows, you know, like I can look at the ground meat when it's cooking and tell that it's finished, or I can once I scramble my eggs and I can look and tell when they are at the point where they are ready to come out of the skillet and come onto my plate. We can tell that, and just like, you know, I'm using that in the sense as just like we know or we can tell that it's finished and know that it's done. God knows when we're finished and when we're ready for the next dimension, for the next season, for the next step. And it's not easy to trust him that it is going to happen, but especially when you have been waiting for so long. You've invested so much and it just seems like everything is not paying off. I think about being in this season where it's just so hard to see it. It seems so hard to get singers together, as many singers as I've worked with throughout the years, and knowing, you know, that it's amazing when we do work together, and the sound and the music, it's just amazing when we finally come together. But then you're in a waiting process where you're having to wait, and you know, it's just like last week scheduling 2 overdub sessions and not having the singers available to be able to come through, even though you plan and you send out messages and you get send out music and try to make sure everybody's ready and together, trying to get together early to rehearse, and some respond, some don't. It's part of the process, but it's not easy, you know, that. And of course, maybe one day, once God does truly bring forth the vision and allow things to come forth, I'll be able to testify to some other musician or songwriter or choir director who longs to have a choir, and it seems like they're struggling to get people together, that I went through that, and prayerfully by then it'll be an amazing mass choir, and they'll be able to really see that it was worth the wait, you know. But the thing is, we're in the middle of it right now. We're the ones having to trust God and believe that some way, somehow, it's going to come to pass. Even with the things in our own life, the thought of He will complete the work in which He began. God is the one who completed the good work in us. And sometimes it seems like I'm just never going to get it, or I'm never going to reach that place that he has for me, because I keep on messing up seemingly in the same areas. But if God is the one who began the work, we have to trust that He's the same God who is able to complete that work. And so that just kind of really stood out to me as we continue in this chapter, or finish this chapter up, talking about waiting on God and really being patient through this fermentation process.
You know, I was thinking about premature.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I know it's patient, but if we go out premature, okay, I'm gonna use a baby for example. When a baby is born premature, they have to stay under the light, and they have to have oxygen and all these resources to help them. As for when a baby is full term, they can come out and go straight home. If we don't go through that full process that God makes us go through, because you are supposed to carry a baby for 9 months. So if you do not, those are the consequences that your baby has to suffer. It is not on you, but you know what I'm saying? If we don't go through that full incubation process of the pruning and the pressing and the crushing and the waiting and the setting up rehearsals and nobody's showing up and all of that. And I heard a girl at school the other day. I was just listening to a conversation where she's been trying to write a book, a children's book. And she's been designing the cartoons for the book and everything for 7 years. And she's like, she just can't get it done. But then I heard another person tell her, like, oh, well, you know, maybe too many children's books out right now. And so I jumped in the conversation. I said, no, you know, maybe it's just not your time to release it. keep working on it. Maybe as you're continuing working on it, God will continue to download more things in you, and it'll evolve into more than just a children's book, to a whole series or something. So that's what, in our waiting time, who knows what God is downloading in us to even be from something small to something huge. Yeah.
Okay. We never know, and especially when you have feelings that you are destined for something greater, and what you're seeing is so far less than what you've envisioned your life to be. From a young age, even before, I think I often go back to Tyler Perry, but even before I knew of a Tyler Perry and the things that were in my heart to do, just seeing someone like that and knowing, that he lives in our generation, then that comes in and confirms that God can do the impossible in our lives if we just be patient and wait. That's one of the things I love about my top three, is how all three of them share those low moments that they had to wait, and the things that we are unaware of that happened behind the scenes that tested their no, that tested their patience, that tested their yes, their ability to keep going, but God. And so thank you all so much for joining us for today's episode of the JaeTae Show. JaeTae, do we have any announcements?
The only announcement I have is mark your calendars. I'm telling you now, mark your calendar.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be amazing.
June 8th. I was about to say January. June 8th, y'all. We are bringing The Cost of the Yes and Shattered combined. We are hosting a conference June 8th. Get ready, get ready, get ready. It's going to be amazing. The lineup is amazing. Y'all look forward to the flyer coming out soon with more details. And as soon as the flyer released, I would go on and hop on registration.
Shattered, the cost of a yes. Has your yes caused you to be shattered, broken, or crushed?
This conference should be full. There should be standing room only.
I've shared that, we're always concerned about the unsaved, but this conference is targeted towards those of us who are in ministry and who have been shattered or found ourselves crushed or broken as a direct result of our saying yes. Just like saying yes to being a choir director or a musician and singer and songwriter, and then you step out and you put all the wording, the mottos, the vision, and all of these things together. You get robes and all of that, and now you find yourself crushed, shattered to a place where you barely can get any singers together. That's a crushing feeling. And you said, yes, God, I am a true laborer of Christ. I am willing to serve. And you find yourself shattered. And so we want to talk to you. We want to encourage you. And our panelists, we have 7 amazing panelists who all have been through various things as a result of their yes. Even our main speaker, all of them have been through some trying things as a direct result of saying yes. And so we know that God has put together an all-star team of people who are able to minister to us and to help us as we wait for this next season of our lives while God is putting us back together again. So stay tuned for the flyer so that you can get registered. All right. God bless you all. Thank you all again so much for joining us. Thank you for joining the JaeTae Show. God bless.
It's the JaeTae Show.